welcome to the Wednesday, October 2 project meeting for the Bugzilla Project. Dave Miller, I'm the project leader, and we have a number of people join us on the call this month. I see Emmanuel Seaman in there, and Kohei Ushino, and Dylan Hardison's here. We should be the start of the show.
I'm back.
Haven't seen him in a while.
Yep. Okay, so I'll just dive right into it. I want to talk about actually, I don't want to just talk about things. I want to talk about things I've been doing, which is been, less than I used to because I only get to do things on the weekend. Although I am taking, this is effectively my lunch break. I'm doing this in case my new manager ever ends up seeing this video. This is my lunch. But on the weekends, I've been working on getting things running. So I have two strains, and I think both of them are important. Emmanuel actually and I chatted about this in IRC several weeks ago. The two things I'm trying to do is get 5.0 so that it's not a tire fire. That's a bit extreme. I'm trying to get it so that you can still use 5.0 and you can upgrade. My biggest concerns with that is that if you may not have a choice, like your MySQL might get upgraded and then you have to do things. So a couple of months ago now, I backported the change that allows UTF-8 MB4 to upstream. It hasn't merged in yet because I'm a little bit cautious of the patch, but the person that asked for it is happy with the change that's been being run by them in production for a month or more now. So that part's good. So I will need to land that. That does add new dependencies, but the reason that this is important is as of MySQL 8, the not UTF-8 MB4 option goes away, and it's good to have good to migrate to not that by MySQL 8. There's a few other things that don't work in that version either that need to be fixed in 5. And these are simple, but I haven't gotten to them yet. But I have a test environment set up where I can do these things. I have multiple versions of MySQL and so on. But chief among these, which is a reported bug, the bug number escapes me at the moment, although I meant to open it before the meeting, is that the word groups, I believe the word groups or group, maybe it's group. Yeah, the word group is a reserved keyword in SQL. It's always been reserved, or it's been reserved for a very long time, but it was okay to use it. MySQL 8, I believe, changed that so that it's not okay to use it. And so that means our schema doesn't work. There's a patch in that bug, which we can post an update alongside when we announce the recording of this and put comments on it. But the TLDR is that it's a little bit difficult to fix. We have to fix it in the schema generation search PM, and we have to fix it in the model layer and maybe one or two other places. And what I mean by fixing it is it's actually just you need to quote it with MySQL's backtick notation. So that's the notation that you have to use in MySQL. Other SQL backends don't use it. So it's a little bit frustrating. Aside from that, the big the other big issue is that Perl 5.30, actually for a couple of releases of Perl, we've had more and more warnings for certain, shall we say, hinky or bad things that's in the Bugzilla code base that Perl is kind of clamped down on. And I think I've been running on I ran on a 5.30 and I only saw warnings. I may not have extensively tested, but I didn't see anything fatal. But nevertheless, when someone new comes around or someone is upgrading their install and they see all these warnings, it's a bad look, and there are a few bugs filed for that that need to be looked at. So what I have in my testing environment is trying to get things running on Perl 5.30 with the idea that if they run there, they'll still run back to whatever our minimal version requirement is, and that should be fine. But those are like paper cuts. These are small tasks that take a little bit of time, and I can actually maybe focus on them. I should have those patches pushed this weekend, or at least a groups thing. I think I can do that much. And that's as far as the stable branch. Now there's the not stable, well, probably more stable in some ways. There's the Harmony branch. That hasn't been updated in a bit, but I have pulled in the changes from the BMO branch, and this is where I have it's not an announcement or anything necessarily bad, but in the past, I shied away from modifying the Harmony code in ways that would make it easier for it to be a product that also would make it better. In the past, I shied away. Oh, crap, I misheard myself. That was very confusing. Ooh, slight disassociation there. Okay, anyway, if I update the Harmony code in ways that would make my previous job more hard. That I would not do that. Like I would just shy away from it. And that is good for the perspective of BMO, but it's bad from the perspective of Harmony because I've always had only a limited amount of time to do things to that. And it's just been a sticking point. If you have to do, like, if you put on your project management hat and you go, what's the biggest blocker to just getting Harmony out? It's making the changes necessary for it that also don't make it an incompatible fork from BMO. And while I don't want to make it an incompatible fork from BMO, and I think I can avoid that, I think that they can live. I think that I have to, in order to get out of the rut that we're in, I have to be able to make those changes. Some of those changes are just certain default values. I don't believe we ever merged the patch that sets the nobody user to a configurable value. I did propose that patch back when I worked on BMO, but I was never able to get it reviewed. So it just sort of sat. But I'm just going to make that change and commit that change to the Harmony repo. And what I've also already done is debranding. So it's not pushed up yet because it also doesn't run, but I'm trying to make it so you can get a seed to database, and it just works right now. If you create a fresh database and you don't have a proper dump, or you don't run the special script that we use in the CI, you don't get a working database. But those are the things I'm wanting to do on the Harmony side. The nice thing is that Harmony is much easier to develop for. I can just run it locally on a machine without having to set up Apache, which getting 5 running in a lab environment has required some slightly unfun stuff. I mean, it's not that bad. It's easier to blow away and recreate things that don't require Apache. But anyway, on the Harmony side, I want to merge in these changes that have been made to BMO, that Kohei has made to BMO in the interleaving months since my departure from working on BMO, and get those in Harmony and get Harmony in runnable state, and also get it in the state. Like, it's not a good look if we have like the Mozilla logo on the open source Harmony thing. It's bad. So that's what I mean by debranding. Remove that logo and remove some specific things. The delta, what I'm trying to do here to maintain how to say this, the way that I wanted to do this in the past is make everything configurable so that we would have no drift between the two. Because we already had that problem before when BMO drifted from upstream, and I don't want to recreate that problem. So in this case, the patches that I generate we've already done the massive code reformatting in both places, which helps. I'll actually get to that in a second. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't clearly talk about last time, about the work I did to 5. But anyway, I want to get those changes as to be as small as possible so that the delta can be small, but there's still a delta. So like they can't be the same source tree or anything like that, but the level of patches between them is still relatively small. Given the current pace that BMO is now changing, I think that will be fine. If the current people working on BMO pick up pace, then we'll probably be in an incompatible fork situation again. But at this juncture and at this meeting, my concern is the upstream Harmony project, which I believe is the future, and the stabilization of 5. Now let's get back to the stabilization of 5. This was actually kind of interesting, and I think that like reiterating what happened there is cool. So there was about 6 commits that I had to take from BMO and merge into, from the BMO code base and merge into 5. What those were is a thing that changes the database connection layer to use DBIX connector, which technically speaking wasn't necessary, but the other changes built on top of that, and it would have been more difficult to figure out. So what I did is these patches that were made were on the pre-formatted code base. So I wrote a tool that checks out a particular commit at history and in the BMO code base, reformats it as it would be under the current Perl tidy formatting rules, and then compares it to the equivalent checkout prior to that patch in the Bugzilla code base. It then uses both of those to generate a diff that is basically the contents of the BMO code, but the diff against the Bugzilla code, which means that I can find just the thing that was changed in BMO and do that. This originally was only 2 or 3 commits, but it expanded to 6 or 7 that got merged in because there's like things that changed. Like one of the changes that I kind of glossed over is at one point it was bad to use the base module in Perl, and it was switched in upstream Bugzilla to use. But Bugzilla never had this change of BMO never had this change of using parent. So one of the patches was reverting that. This same procedure could be done if we, and I think this is kind of a decision for Just Dave's. Hi, Emma. If we wanted to say that we don't think that the Harmony thing is ever going to pan out, and I keep in mind, I just illustrated why I think I can get the work done to do that on weekends and stuff. Another path forward would be to take what I've done in the cherry picking of the DBX connector and UTF-8MB code, and then cherry pick more things back onto 5. The next thing I would choose, that seems like a better route to the people present in the meeting, is the Modulicious stuff. The Modulicious encompasses 6 patches, including a relatively recent one, maybe 7. If you cherry picked all of those, then you would have you would have 5.0 exactly as it is now, except it would not have a mod Perl dependency, which would, as I said, make it more attractive for easy development. At least it makes it more attractive to me. But I can't do both of those things. I probably can do the stabilization of the SQL changes to make it make 5.0 run on my SQL 8. But if I do that, that means that the stuff that needs to happen in Harmony, which is the debranding stuff, can't happen. So I kind of would like Dave a priority, which I think that Emmanuel, your opinion is, you can voice this too, but I believe your opinion is it would be really better to just get 5 in a more stable state. And if I can spend like a few hours on the weekend to do that, that would be the best use of time. So opinions.
Well, I think I think we probably need a 5.2 release, which would be a bridge between the 5.0 and the Harmony one, which is really what you're describing in your commit cherry picking.
Yes, that would be a bridge like that. Then you could have a 5.2 that's still compatible with it. Like, we're not making any schema changes there. We're just making the underlying architectural things better. Like, so we've made the database architecture better. If we merge in the Modulicious change, we would be making the HTTP thing more runnable. And you could argue that the Modulicious thing is kind of similar to the MySQL thing, because Apache, running mod Perl Apache, is getting harder and harder to do. Like, I won't say it's unmaintained. That's certainly not the case. But if we didn't have that dependency, then getting it running would be easier. So that, I think that may be. But what I want is just Dave's opinion on this. So like, I will spend the time, but I want just Dave to pick which thing is more important. Do you think a 5.2 incremental jump includes the Modulicious stuff is a good use of time? I think that would take me. I'll be really generous. I think that will take me like 2 weekends of time to do. And that's me spending a significant amount of time on the weekend doing that, which sometimes isn't possible, but I think forecasting for the next couple of weekends, it's probably possible.
Yeah, I think how many years has it been since 5.0 released?
Well, let me phrase this out.
Quite a lot.
Because
in this context, for the open source, this open source stuff, you're my boss, so I want you to pick what I work on.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The 6.0 has been a long time coming, and from the sound of things, there's still quite a bit of work that has to be put into it before it's ready to actually go out. And so having some sort of release to say that we're still here and not dead might be a good thing. Especially considering the amount of changes that have happened to upstream operating systems since 5.0 was released.
Yeah, and I think
we should have something stable that runs on current operating systems.
All right. I will take those as my marching orders then. I will still push up the debranded Harmony branch, and that is up to date and can be run, but it's basically the same as BMO, just with some branding removed. Yeah. And I won't touch any more changes on that until I get 5.2, and my release criteria for 5.2 are the MySQL issues and a stretch goal, which may be dropped, of getting it so that the Modulicious runtime is there. But that's a stretch. The biggest thing is the MySQL changes and also Perl version changes. So those are the must-haves for 5.2.
507, 508 probably should have been 5.2.
Yeah. We could retroactively renumber those too. We can just pretend that didn't happen.
Well, a lot of people probably already updated.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I won't do that. I promise. Anyway, yeah, this has been difficult. I had some things come up that made it so that I didn't have as much time to work on this, but I'm pretty optimistic about my ability to have time now. Things have calmed down. And I honestly get bored like not working on this because the types of problems involved in this code are still interesting to me, and I don't know, I'm just fond of it at this point. Might be Stockholm syndrome, but I'd like to continue making some improvements there.
Oh yeah, so the Harmony is still our end state for 6, but we don't have a clear upgrade.
Yeah, that's like that next generation. Hopefully Harmony won't become our like second system syndrome effect or anything. But I mean, it's not really. It's just getting the VMO code running. The problem is it's just very entwined with a bunch of Mozilla specific stuff.
And that's why we had so many point releases of Bugzilla 2, because there was a full rewrite called Bugzilla 3 at one point that was supposed to be the new thing. And then it never got finished. So eventually we decided, okay, that's not happening. We'll just make a Bugzilla 3 out of the main code base.
I hate that history repeats itself sometimes. But anyway, Powers of 3, those are difficult releases apparently. I don't have any other further updates, although I did notice that, so TLDR, the test suite, the parts of it that pass, run a lot faster on Perl 530. I would be really interested to see what the performance characteristics of a large Bugzilla install using like 530 Perl, because it's significantly in performance improvement. Also, the memory usage is surprisingly lower, which I think I know why. Like there's in between the interleaving years, there's been a lot of copy on write optimizations to Perl, so templates do copy a lot of strings. But anyway, it's remarkably faster. I kind of was surprised at how fast the test failed. So, that's what I've got as far as an update.
Cool. Anybody else have anything to discuss? I saw Emma came in the middle of your talk there.
Yep.
Anything for her to share, or just coming in to say hi?
I think Emma is closest, like is the representative of VMO in the meeting now. I mean,
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm now actually part of the VMO team. I'm actually part of the workflow team now. We just basically Sylvester took on the fuzzing team after Al left, and that
Remember this meeting is public and recorded.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Basically, he took on a bunch of new direct reports, and so it made sense for me to go to a new manager. So I'm in that team. But yeah,
cool. You have a great manager. I'm happy to say that.
No, they're both great managers.
Yeah. I mean, you had a great manager and you have another great manager. The workflow team is amazing. So good job.
Yeah. Yeah. And so some of the stuff that we're looking at really, as we've been talking about, sort of the things that have been going on with respect to making decisions about how to, what to do about older bugs, because we don't want to delete, we don't want to resolve them or close them because they're of interest to some people, but we're looking at some ways of implementing defaults on search that will focus attention on what bugs are currently being used. What bugs are currently being focused.
Like what are the active state? That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
I need to actually drop out pretty much nowish. So if there's nothing else, I've made deliverable promises before and defaulted on them, which I am sorry. I do want you to know that I do feel great shame for doing that. So it probably will be better this time, assuming that like unrelated family members to stop, having things that require my attention. But yeah, what I'm saying by that is I wouldn't mind if you tweet at me, like if a weekend goes by and you don't see me do anything, tweet at me, because that sort of gentle public prodding, I won't mind, and you may get a response out of me. Me even saying this kind of sets me up for success, hopefully. So feel free to be my accountability buddy. Anyone watching this, feel free to be my accountability buddy. I'll also shout out to, who I haven't gotten back with yet from the IRC channel, Eric D., who has offered to test something, which is, I haven't gotten anything for him to test yet. But the fact that I got that message is actually a motivating factor in me wanting to do this stuff. So those sorts of encouragements I really greatly appreciate. Anyway, if you, I will just drop out, but if you have anything else to discuss, there's no reason to end the meeting, but I have to go. So bye-bye. As soon as I can figure out how to exit Zoom.
I don't have anything else. So, well, Dave, you're muted.
Oh, I was just saying I'm trying to find the agenda because my tab that I had it open and disappeared on me. Yeah, nobody added anything else to the agenda, so I guess that's it for us. So.
I do have two things to add.
Okay. Okay.
One of them is that I'm packaging the new Pro dependencies of the Harmony branch into Fedora.
Okay.
And that's taking slightly longer than I expected, but I'm still working on it. And the other thing is that now that Red Hat 8 is out, I'm now packaging the Pro modules that Bugzilla 5.0 uses so that people can run 5.0 easily on Red Hat 8 and CentOS 8.
Cool. Yeah, it's appreciated.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Is that your Harmony packaging that you're doing? That's like a separate package name from Bugzilla or something?
Right now, I'm still packaging the Pro modules that we now depend on, that we didn't depend on the 5.0 branch.
Okay, so it's not Bugzilla itself, it's just the dependencies that you're doing.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay. If nobody else has anything else.
Actually, I do have one thing.
Okay.
We're getting the traditional problem this time of year where we have lots of fake bugs being filed on BMO because coursework and online classes are telling people to file bugs as part of their work. And since Sandbox is gone, people are filing bugs on BMO, and it's costing our people time to go through and fix those, or to resolve those and deal with those. Do we want to bring back a Sandbox instance for people to test drive?
Yeah.
We need to make some requests to get some budget to run something like that. What I've been telling people to do is just basically to follow the instructions that are in the BMO branch to bring up to launch on Docker.
That Dylan had something set up on Bugzilla.ninja at some point, but I'm getting a 404 error going there right now.
Yeah,
I
think
still
it
exists, but there's nothing there.
We still have bugzilla.dev.arizona.org, right?
Right, but that one you can't create accounts on. You have to.
You can create an account by signing in with GitHub.
Yes.
So that actually that message is not displayed on the site. Yeah, so we have to show the banner to say create this is a test website. You can file any bugs and you can sign in with GitHub like that. And yeah, we should change our banner message to explain that.
Okay.
It says ask on BMO IRC channel if you require access right now.
Yeah,
like that.
And that's going away because
Yeah,
IRC
going away.
Cloud. IRC Cloud goes away this Friday, and then we'll be decommissioning Mozilla IRC in April, I believe, March or April. And then by
Yeah.
that time, we'll have the new communications platform in place. And if people in the community have questions about that, please seek out Mike Hoy. And if you look at Mike Hoy's web blog, most recent blog entries talk about what we're looking at. We have instances. So if you're already a vouched Mozillian, you should have access to these test instances to try things out. We're looking at Riot, Rocket Chat, Mattermost, and of course Slack, what we're using right now. But at some point we're going to pick one of those and then migrate over to it. But starting Friday, unless you're running a bouncer, then you're not going to, you're going to have to run a, you're going to have to either run your own bouncer or just deal with the impermanence of IRC.
Okay. And like our channel, we've already moved the Pound Bugzilla channel over to Freenode on IRC. And it's still there on Mozilla's, but there's been no activity in several months. Just the bots talking about bugs getting filed and stuff.
I should probably have that taken down just so that people don't disadvantage people's expectations about communication.
Yeah. I think we've been advertising the Freenode channel on the website for a while. I think. I hope we have. That's. That was on the free support page, wasn't it? Yep, it does. On Bugzilla on Freenode, it says. Okay. Yeah, anybody else have anything they want to share? Take that as a no. Our next meeting is going to be same time of day, 9 p.m. UTC on November 6th. We will see you guys in November. Have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time of day it is where you are.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, see you next month. Bye.
Yes. As they say, keep rocking the free web.